Hey guys, it's Bastion time! Welcome to This Week in Nintendo News. I'm your host Bastion, and I do know Jack.
And now I'm wearing a hat. Nintendo Direct was a pre-E3 presentation, and we learned quite a few new interesting facts. So let's get to those facts now. So first of all, we learned what the actual name is of the Wii U tablet thing, iPad-y sort of deal. It's the Wii U GamePad, which I guess makes sense. It is a little silly that Nintendo is like, it's not related to the iPad, but then they put the word pad in it. And also, on the Wii U GamePad controller, you'll see a little square. And what this square is if you're familiar with the game Skylanders, you'll know that it comes with a device that you plug into your console, and then that device reads like figures. You buy these different figures and you set it on the device, and instantaneously it brings up that character in the game, and each of those characters stores data. It's kind of like almost like a saving device, and each little character, you build up its level. Well, it looks like Nintendo is planning on incorporating that, but inherently within the controller itself, because that's what that little square is about. It will allow you to buy cards or figures or something, and then you'll tap it onto that, and it will read that, and then instantly that will affect the game in some sort of manner. They didn't give any examples because they're still waiting until Tuesday to reveal game-specific things. But it's an interesting idea, and I'm excited to see what they do with that, especially anything for Zelda I can't even begin to fathom. Our next little tidbit of information is that they're going to go ahead and release a more classically shaped controller. It's highly unlikely that this controller will be used for any Nintendo games, because of course Nintendo is going to want to sort of promote the usage of the GamePad. So this Wii U Pro controller, you know, it'll be interesting. A lot of people have remarked it looks exactly like the Xbox 360 controller, but I mean, to Nintendo's benefit, the Xbox 360 controller really looks a lot like the GameCube controller, which of course came out way before the Xbox 360 controller, so whatever. It's very comfortable, the Xbox 360 controller, and this is shaped so similar, I'm sure it will be just as comfortable. That's pretty awesome. We learned a whole lot about specific things about how the Wii U interacts with other Wii Us. When you start up the Wii U, there will be this screen that's kind of like the Mii Plaza screen from the Wii, except this is kind of worldwide, or at least countrywide. And so basically it will pop up icons for games. These might not even be games that you actually own. And it will be like the most popular games that people are playing, and it will show, you know, who is playing what game, basically, which is pretty interesting. Something that interests me a little bit more, though, is that they showed off what I'm guessing is going to be the new Super Mario Bros. Mii game. And first of all, in case you can't tell, the graphics are completely different than the version that they showed at E3 last year. Last year's graphics looked identical to New Super Mario Bros. Wii, which were basically almost identical to New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. But these are obviously HD, a whole lot more texture and shading and detail. But the most interesting thing about it is you'll notice after the player dies in this, all of these little text bubbles pop up. And Mr. Iwata explained that what that's about is that your Wii U will be able to communicate with your friends' Wii U's, and so you'll be able to do things like oh, I died at that part again. I'll write a little message, frowny face, and then your me will show up with a little text bubble at those kind of key places. Another interesting thing is above this one individual's name, it says there's like a gold colored text bubble that looks like maybe it's an achievement because the character says that they cleared it in less than 100 seconds, this particular level. And then above that, there's a thing that says cleared in less than 100 seconds. So it looks like there's going to be, achievements and trophies, but of course they'll be very Nintendo-esque. So that'll be interesting to see exactly how that pans out. But I don't know, it's kind of interesting seeing a lot of people's different experiences all wrapped in together with just one game. And it's not even really an online game specifically, it's just it sort of pulls everything that your friends are saying so that you can see it where you're at that particular part of the game. Kind of interesting. Some of the other things that were revealed were things like video conferencing. If you get stuck in a certain part, it looks like there's an online aspect where you can go online for each game or something and say, oh, I'm stuck, anybody know how to get past this one part? And then you can choose whether you just want to type back and forth or if you want to do like a video conference sort of thing. What's also interesting is that you can set emotions for your Miis for each message, so rather than like an emoticon, it will be like your Mii looking angry or frustrated or sad or overjoyed. It's kind of an interesting idea. And so that's it for the Wii U wrap-up. Now let's get over to what I recorded earlier.
Our next story was a crazy rumor that started earlier this past week that said that there was that the big project that Retro was working on for Nintendo was not a Metroid game in of itself, but a Metroid / Star Fox game. That's so weird. And of course, it eventually turns out that it was debunked. That's not happening. Apparently, it was discussed at some point with Retro. They had a brainstorming session, and several titles came out as a result of that brainstorming session, but not a Star Fox Metroid crossover. Frankly, I think it's for the best because I really can't imagine how this could possibly work. I mean, Metroid takes itself kind of seriously, Star Fox not so much. It would kind of almost be like, imagine you're playing a Zelda game where you're Link and you're out killing some Octoroks, and then suddenly you team up with Mario and he jumps on Ganon's head. It doesn't work for me. I'm glad that this was just a rumor. And then our final story is truth, but it is just as bizarre as anything else we've heard, which is that there is a patent that Nintendo filed for a 3DS stylus that vibrates. So, thanks for watching this week's episode of This Week in Nintendo News. Definitely check out This Week in Zelda News, and be sure to subscribe to the channel so you're on top of all the newest Bastion Time happenings. I'm going to be posting a video soon that some of you have been asking for, which is a less formal, more Q&A sort of thing. So, stay tuned for that. Bye, guys.